morning.
Morning.
First, I'd like to commend our second grade class for chairing today. Thumbs up, guys. Oh, their Oshoko was precious today. Second grade and third grade are my two favorites because second and third grade, you can have great conversation and train of thought, and they observe everything, and there's very little filter. Yeah, teaching them in the Metta Padma class has been a joy. Second, third, fourth grade, they have the energy to come hopping up to Oshoko. Yeah, Mari, that was great. Just made my morning. Last weekend, Reverend Patty and I were away at the annual national conference meeting with also our President Gordon Nita and Vice President Brian Hatano. And while we were away, we were able to have two of our youth ministers' assistants speak in our absence, Amanda Borges and Christine Yabumoto. I was not able to view Christine's talk online, but I saw the draft, and it was a wonderful reflection of her appreciation for the Dharma in her life. And Amanda also shared her Dharma appreciation as she sees it applied to the changes she is experiencing and the changes she is expecting as a soon-to-be graduating high school senior. As I was able to watch and listen to Amanda's talk online, I felt as if I were also living what she is going through. So today, I am actually going to share Amanda's Dharma message last week, slightly revised, to share it from our perspective as graduating to that next stage in our lives, retirement. As I said to Amanda, I wrote to her, but I asked her this morning, did you get my email I sent the other day? I guess kids nowadays just check. They text. They don't check their email. She goes, oh no, let me see. And then she looked at her phone and she goes, oh, here it is. But that's okay. Because I told Amanda I'm going to use her talk today. She doesn't know this. It's a revision of her talk, but the flow is totally hers. So here's my Amanda Dharma talk revised. It's so nice to see you all this morning. When I first began my life as a temple minister in 1975, I was so nervous. And I remember well that each time I had to prepare a Dharma message, I had no idea what I was going to talk about. As I truly and deeply reflect on my life, I cannot help but realize how much Buddhism has impacted it. Week after week, since I was 5 years old, I have attended services. And looking back, I have heard and I have given hundreds of sermons. Each week, I've tried to incorporate Buddhist teachings into everyday talk, and especially this past year, I've really begun to try to prepare each talk even more thoughtfully, for I knew this would be our last official Dharma school term together. Although I appreciated and understood the Buddhist teachings that I was taught over those years, reflecting back, I know that it was only when I had to know real loss that I realized just how meaningful the Dharma truly was to me. Perhaps it is only in knowing real loss in our lives that the true Dharma begins to make sense to us, that our Dharma eyes begin to open. In knowing the deep pains of losing people we love, the Dharma could no longer just remain intellectual concepts. I realized that the Dharma was nothing less than life itself. And when I began to teach the Metta Padma class back in 1985, I became aware that I took for granted what I thought that I knew and understood. And I've often said that it was only in teaching my 8, 9, and 10-year-old students that I realized perhaps I don't really understand Buddhism. In my early years of teaching that Padma Metta class, I saw every now and then my attempts to share the Dharma with our young children, my attempts were met with blank stares. They would be looking up and rolling their eyes and picking their nose and spinning their ojuzus around. And I knew I had lost them. And when these moments occurred, I had to ask myself, if I can't explain Buddhism to these children, maybe I don't really understand it well enough myself. And in trying to make the Dharma meaningful to our 9-year-olds, I found that I began to understand the Dharma even more for myself. And I realized that the Dharma is not just a teaching. Sharing the Dharma is just sharing what is undeniably true in living life. To open our eyes and see the nature of life very clearly as it is. To see the fragility of life and realize a big part of life is to understand the reality of death. In fact, there is no separation of the two. Life and death are a part of simply living. The only constant in life is change, and it is up to us to accept it or not. Throughout our lives, we will constantly be undergoing change. Life is filled with beginnings and endings. Every moment is an ending and a new beginning. And as Amanda said, if we ignore the reality of impermanence, we will not see that we will not have forever to be with those we love. We will not have forever to pursue a dream. We do not have forever to accomplish the things we hope to do. This past year, after our retirement was announced, I have felt that Reverend Patty and I also have felt like our high school seniors, Amanda and Christine, and our graduation too is right around the corner. Every day, people mention how close we are until these days as ministers of the Betsuin will be behind us. Patty and I share our eager, happy faces of anticipation. On the inside, we cannot help but reflect on how little time we have left to be with you in this capacity as the ministers of the Betsuin. I can still remember our first days here in this Hondo so vividly, and it is so strange to think that that was 32 years ago, when it feels like only a few years ago. And after all the years here, and seeing so many familiar faces throughout the weeks and months, our lives have developed a comfortable routine. But I know that we will be parting ways soon. And it is when we realize that our time is short that we truly begin to feel grateful for the time we have left together. I remember when I felt that growing up was leaving home and being on our own for the first time. This time we will not be leaving home, but we will be leaving what has been our life for over 3 decades. But change is an inevitable part of life. Pretty soon we will be saying goodbye to the familiar, ever-reliable, and loving support system that we have come to know as our life as ministers of the Betsuin. As the days start to dwindle down, Patty and I continue to become truly more grateful and appreciative of all of our Dharma friends and our Dharma family here at the Betsuin. Buddhism has taught us to be mindful, to live in the moments we do have, and to live with our Dharma eyes open. Especially this past year, we have found that the Dharma is our life, for we realize how much Buddhism has meant to us and how being a part of this Betsuin has been the fulfillment of our lives. And I could see now why Amanda got kind of choked up. It's beautiful. And it's so true. This is where Amanda ended her beautiful Dharma message, but I would like to go just a little further. It is true that as these days dwindle down, Patty and I cannot help but feel an ever-growing sense of gratitude and appreciation for all of our Dharma friends and Dharma family here at the Betsuin. And as Amanda said, Buddhism always encourages us to be mindful, to live in the moment that is right now, and to live with our Dharma eyes open. In a way, I would consider this a perfect description of living a Buddhist life. To live each moment grateful and appreciative for all of the Dharma friends that we have, the Dharma family that we share, and live being mindful of the moment that is right now. To live with Dharma eyes open. In deeply reflecting on what it is to live a Buddhist life, I realize that if I truly consider this a worthy goal, and I do, then my goal is to become Stevie. For those of you who may not be familiar with Stevie, she is one of our official Betsuin greeters, and she is our resident Dharma therapy puppy. She is a beautiful black lab that belongs to Gordon and Jennifer Nita, and Stevie will soon be 4 years old next month. She is just the sweetest, kindest little puppy. She has the kindest heart and the most gentle demeanor. Stevie is content to be wherever she is, totally in the moment, and happy to see everyone who comes through the doors of our temple. And when she sees you, her tail cannot wag fast enough. There is no mistaking how she feels, for there is no other side to Stevie. She doesn't bite, she rarely barks, and if she does, it's usually just once, and she's barking for a reason. We gave Stevie an okesa, one of these, what is also sometimes called a monto shikisho, which indicates that she is a disciple of the Buddha and on the Dharma path. Stevie is kind and caring and intuitive. When we have families coming to arrange a service for someone they have lost, Stevie will often join us in the discussion in the library. She will greet them, and during our meetings, it would not be unusual to see her just sitting or lying by their feet. She has such a comforting presence that there are some families and some individuals that have called before visiting again, but they wanted to find out if Stevie would be there. They wanted to make sure that she would be here before coming to make further arrangements. It seems amazing, but not if you know Stevie. When we gave Stevie her okesa, we also gave her a Buddhist name. Stevie's homyo is Shaku Kinsa, which means golden chain. Golden chain. Golden chain, for she is kind and gentle to every living thing. There is no selfish ego. So she has only pure and beautiful thoughts. Actions too, pure and beautiful. On more than a few occasions, I've seen Patty in the office a bit in a hurry, preparing things, preparing for something. And, I've seen her turn a little too quickly and bump into Stevie. And when she does this, she'll stop everything. She'll put whatever she's holding, she'll put it down, and she'll say, "Oh, Stevie, I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't see you. Are you all right?" Oh, my goodness. And then she'll just apologize again. "I'm sorry. Okay. If she turns and bumps into me, she doesn't stop what she's doing, And she says, "Bob, move, you're in the way." Maybe if I was more like Stevie, she would stop everything and see, "Oh, Bob, are you all right?" I doubt it, but this is my goal. This is my goal, to live each moment grateful and appreciative for all of our Dharma friends and Dharma family here at the Betsuin. To live being mindful in the moment, being kind and gentle with Dharma eyes open. My goal is to become Stevie. So again, to paraphrase Amanda, especially this past year, Patty and I have found that the Dharma is our life, for we realize with each passing day how much Buddhism and being a part of this Betsuin has been the fulfillment of our lives. Knowing that we are certainly going to continue to do our very best each and every day, please In closing, join me in Gasho. We live most days routinely without much thought that we will never live this day again in all eternity. Each wondrous day is special, in sunshine or in rain. In living we'll know pleasure, fulfillment, loss, and pain. This is the truth of constant change we'll live throughout our lives. With Dharma eyes, we'll see each day is Amida's paradise. Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Namo Amida.